think that I'm a cold-blooded murderer.
A wealthy New York socialite accused of poisoning her son.
When you checked in to the Peninsula Hotel, did you believe he knew this is my death house?
She claims she killed him.
It was to protect him.
To save him from alleged abuse.
You had money, you had means, passports, why not run?
That sounded crazy to me.
But ending your child's life does not sound crazy to you?
From behind bars on Rikers Island.
Did you get on top of your son and force-feed him the pills?
No.
The exclusive interview.
The only eyewitness you killed. Who gave you the right to end this?
Here's Dr. Phil.
Today, an exclusive interview behind bars with the multi-millionaire Manhattan socialite accused of the unthinkable, murdering her own 8-year-old son. Former high-powered pharmaceutical executive Gigi Jordan says this was a murder-suicide gone wrong and claims she only killed her son to protect him. Gigi admits she checked into a ritzy hotel on Fifth Avenue armed with nearly 6,000 prescription pills and poisoned her son with a lethal combination of Ambien and Xanax, washing down the pills using a syringe full of expensive vodka, orange juice, and crushed up hydrocodone. Gigi is on trial for murder right now in New York City.
Outside the posh peninsula, the body of an 8-year-old boy was taken away after police believe he was force-fed a deadly mix of pills by his mother.
Did mommy actually grind down powerful painkillers, Vicodin, to mix with vodka and orange juice, then force-feed her little 8-year-old son? Police race to a $2,000 a night hotel suite. There they find an executive mom, Gigi Jordan, sitting on the floor.
Police forced their way into the 16th floor room where inside they found a suicide note, the boy's lifeless body on the bed, and his mother slumped nearby, babbling incoherently. The deadly discovery came after the woman emailed family in her native Belgium saying she was planning to kill herself and her son.
The little boy, by all accounts, according to his teachers, a mute. He couldn't scream out or complain.
Jordan claims the boy's father had been sexually abusing him, and she believes she was saving him from a life of torture.
Prosecutors described the mercy-killing defense as hollow. In court papers, Carrie O'Connell, the lead prosecutor, wrote, "While the defendant has a right to a defense, she does not get to simply conjure one from the ether."
Today, one of Jordan's attorneys, Ron Kuby, demanded a mistrial because he said the judge did not allow the jurors to hear evidence that might have proved Jordan's ex-husband, Ray Mira, was trying to kill her, which led to her emotional instability.
All I can tell you is that Gigi has a story to tell of how this unfolded and what happened to her and what happened to Jude, and she's going to tell that story.
Gigi Jordan says she planned to kill herself and her son because she believed her ex-husband Ray had mafia ties and planned to kill her. Gigi says if she died, she was terrified custody of Jude would go to his biological, a man Gigi claims abused the boy. The allegations Gigi Jordan has made are absolutely refuted by both of her ex-husbands, and neither man has ever been charged with any crime. Across the water is Rikers Island, home to one of New York's most notorious correctional facilities. Inside, Gigi Jordan is awaiting her fate. Let's talk about what happened and why you're on trial. On February 3rd of 2010, you took your son, Jude, 8 years old, and you checked into the Peninsula Hotel, correct?
Correct.
Sometime over the next 48 hours, you took his life.
Yes, I gave him medication that resulted in his death.
You killed your son, and you did so intentionally.
Yes.
You also sought to take your own life.
Yes.
By taking these pills, these medications.
Correct.
We're going to talk about why in a minute. You're riding up the elevator to the 16th floor. What are you thinking?
I'm not thinking, I'm terrified.
As you walked through that door, did you know you were going to go into that room and kill that boy and yourself?
Up until the moment that happened, I had continuing reservations.
What was his demeanor when you went into the room? Was he excited to be there? Was it, oh, it's a beautiful place? Was he running around the room? Was he jumping on the bed? Was he happy? Was he?
He was very anxious.
At some point in that room, you crossed the line and said, I'm doing this.
I said, I haven't been able to protect this child from this horror his whole life. I didn't want him to be here, and I certainly didn't want to be here without him. I have typing between us, back and forth, leading up to that moment.
And he had the capacity to have an intelligent discussion with you. I understand it was typing.
Yes.
But he had the conceptual ability to have this conversation with you.
Yes.
Did he know why you were taking him to the peninsula?
He knew. We had been talking about this for approximately 3 days.
When you walked through the doors of the peninsula, you believe he knew, this is my death house?
No, I don't know that he knew this was his death house. This was something that we were discussing back and forth, back and forth. He would say things to me like, you're too weak. You know this is the only way out. They're going to get me. They're going to get you. So up until the very end, there was back and forth about whether or not this was the only way out.
Did Jude encourage you to take his life?
Jude and I talked a lot in the prior days about the ongoing threats to my life and what would happen to him, and his fears that he had been expressing over a couple of years, over the time that I was able to separate him from his biological father, who had horrendously sexually abused him over the earlier course of his life, up till he was 6.5 years old, when he found the courage to tell me about the abuse. I had assured him 50, 60 times a day in response to his terror. He'll find me. He'll kill me. He's going to kidnap me and take me. He's going to get me. If he finds out I've told, he's going to get me.
So where was he when you gave him the first medication, and what did you say?
I didn't say anything. Jude at that point understood. He'd been taking medications for most of his life. He understood what was going on.
So you handed him some pills to take?
Yes.
How many at one time?
I don't know. I would hand him 6 or 7 pills.
And he could swallow them?
Yes.
Did he know what you were giving him?
I don't know that he specifically knew. He was used to these medications. He knew about some of them. This is what happened, Dr. Phil.
Did he know when you put those pills in his hand? Did he know this is it?
I think so.
We're doing this?
Yes.
And you gave him about 50 pills?
Something like that.
15 or 20 Xanax and 30 or 40 Ambien?
Yes.
You also say that you crushed up some pills because they had hard edges on them and it was difficult for him to swallow.
They were large pills, hydrocodone, and they were this big and they needed to be split and crushed.
Was a syringe ever used?
Yes, he'd been taking medication in syringes from years prior.
How long did it take for him to take all of those?
5 or 10 minutes.
Did he type anything during that time? Did he say, is this it?
He said, you're too chicken to do this, but they're going to get us. It's the only way out.
Did you feel like he was goading you into it?
No.
But he wanted you to do it?
Yes.
Was he afraid?
I don't think he was afraid. I think he was afraid of being alive.
So you believe once he got in that room and you started giving him the pills, you think he knew?
Yes.
Did he hug you? Did he?
Yes.
Did he hold on to you in those final moments?
We held each other in the end. We held each other. Once he took the pills, I held him and he held me and he said, He said, God will forgive you. He knows everything that you've done to try to help me.
He typed that out? And how long before he lost consciousness?
He was asleep within maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
And how long before your son died?
I don't know. Right now, my head isn't clear, but I think they say it was like 24 hours, something like that.
There is speculation that he fought you, that he did not want to take the pills, and that you jammed them down his throat, that you used the syringe, that he was bruised on his nose and his mouth and his chin. Did you get on top of your son and sit on his chest and force feed him these medicines? Jude Mira's biological father, Emil Chekhov, vehemently denies all the accusations Gigi Jordan makes against him. We reached out to him to offer the opportunity to participate in the show and tell his side of the story. We did not hear back from him in time for our broadcast deadline. Emil Chekhov has not been charged with any crime. I just don't get how it is rational, even under the pressure you were at the time, to not do everything else first before you did what you did. Who gave you the right to end this child's life?
We now return to Dr. Phil's interview with New York socialite Gigi Jordan.
Gigi Jordan testified that after checking in to the Peninsula Hotel, she fed her son 50 pills. 15 minutes after Jude swallowed his final capsule, Gigi says he, quote, fell asleep on the bed. But prosecutors claim bruises on Jude's nose, chin, and chest indicate that she got on top of her son and force-fed him the poisonous mix of pills and also used a syringe to give him liquefied hydrocodone. She insists she panicked when she realized her son was dying, and the bruises are a result of her frantic efforts to revive him. There is speculation that he fought you, that he did not want to take the pills, and that you jammed them down his throat, that he was bruised on his nose and his mouth and his chin because you had to force his mouth open and hold his nose to make him swallow.
No. We had a forensic pathologist testify that the bruises on his chest, his nose, and his chin were related to the CPR that I attempted to administer at the end when I heard his, it's called agonal breathing, which is when you know that someone's really at the end and dying.
But you wanted him to die. You wanted him to be safe.
Dr. Phil, it's not that simple, you know. It's really not that simple. It's the last thing I wanted. I wanted him to be safe. These words kill, death house. I wanted him to be safe. I didn't want him to be raped or tortured anymore. I did not. The last world I wanted was to lose my son. My son was my whole life. He's still my whole life. He's the reason I'm here telling you this story.
When did you take the pills that were to kill you?
He took the pills late that night, you know, 12 midnight, something like that. And then he passed, I don't know, sometime on the 4th. And then I wrote a 20-some-odd page suicide note trying to tell everything that had happened. And that suicide note was sealed and not admitted by the court in my trial.
I owed it to you to learn and study what did not get into that court. So you check in at 8 p.m. on the 3rd. So early morning of the 4th, somewhere in there, you give him this fatal overdose. The next morning, you're still there. You haven't taken any medication, and you're working on this suicide note.
I'm writing the suicide note, yes.
Okay. There's evidence that you had someone from the front desk come mail 2 letters. Yes.
I wrote a check for $8 million to Doctors Without Borders, and I wrote a check for $12 million to the American Cross Haitian Relief Fund.
So while you're writing these checks, you're in the room and Jude has passed.
He was unconscious, but he was still alive.
Did you think, I need to stop this, I need to get him help? Did you question yourself?
I questioned myself when I heard him get breathing, when I heard the agonal breaths. It's not a matter of questioning. I just had to run and try to help him. I couldn't stand it. I thought he was gone.
Okay. So when you tried to help him and could not, you remained in the room with him for quite some time. This is a recent picture with you in bed with your son. Were you in bed with him much like this?
Yes.
And he looks very happy and peaceful with you at this point. Was he that way when you were with him that night?
At times, towards the end, he was. He was very anxious for days and days leading up to this.
Uh-huh. If I can show you another picture, it ended very, very differently. This is him taking him on a gurney outside the hotel. So at some point, you took the medications to end your life.
Yes.
And when you took them, you knew Jude was gone. It was okay for you to go.
Yes.
You're a nurse. You had lots of medicines there. Why did you fail?
Dr. Phil, I took over 60 milligrams of Xanax, okay? I took over 50 milligrams of Ambien. I took 10 hydrocodone, and I drank vodka. When the email was finished, I sent it to numerous people. I sent it to attorneys I had reached out to help me. I sent it to law enforcement. I sent it to family members. One of my family members called the police. The police came, but I'm told by one of the detectives who testified that I was screaming, retching, vomiting. And the other officer, there's a tape recording where he says she's barely alive. I assume that because I was found early enough, that's the reason I didn't die.
As you sit here today, did you do the right thing? Would you do it again? You believed you were going to be killed and that your killer was going to make certain that your son got returned to this person that you believe was monstrously torturing and molesting this innocent child.
We now return to Death on Fifth Avenue. Millionaire mom accused of murdering her son speaks from Rikers Island.
Jude Mira spent his final hours alive right here at the Peninsula Hotel. While Manhattan's elite socialized downstairs, prosecutors say Gigi Jordan had nearly 6,000 prescription pills and a syringe used to force-feed patients, and a plan out alone. As you sit here today, did you do the right thing? Would you do it again?
No. When you fear for someone's life and you fear for your own life, I don't know. Could I have tried more things? I tried so many things. Knowing what I know now, I don't know. I certainly did not want my son gone. Certainly didn't want to be here without him and love him more than anything in the world.
You touched my head?
Was this a mercy killing?
Mercy killing says to me, someone's suffering and you just want to put them out of their misery in some way. That's not what this was.
What was it?
This was the most hopeful time in his life. I'd gotten him into a regular school where he was being mainstreamed. They'd put him in the 5th and 6th grade combined class when he was 8 years old. He had friends. I couldn't believe that someone who'd been through what he'd been through had the hope that he had about life. This had nothing to do with that. It was to protect him.
You talk about systematic torture of Jude Mira, inadmissible. June's own words about the torment he suffered, inadmissible. You detail what you say he reported to you
and others
about horrific, systematic torture and sexual molestation, humiliation, degradation.
Yes.
And your position is that you believed you were going to be killed and that your killer was going to make certain that your son got returned to this person that you believe was monstrously torturing and molesting this innocent child.
Yes.
And for that reason, you said our only way out is death.
Having tried every imaginable avenue possible.
But did you run?
I made efforts starting as early as 2008 when I started to understand some of these things about Mira and the danger he posed.
But you never reported it to the authorities.
I did report it to the authorities.
You filed complaints with the police.
Yes, my 3 different therapists filed it with Child Protective Services.
No, I'm talking about you.
I went through the therapist.
If somebody is hurting your child, you call the police, you call 911, you call the cops.
I did not believe that the police, and I was told through my therapist that they wouldn't believe it, they didn't believe it, and that they wouldn't make a police report because the police would never prosecute this.
He can sit with an investigator and type out what he's saying to you, correct?
I'm just telling you what I was told.
No, I'm just asking, could he do that?
I eventually did go to law enforcement. I went to Wyoming, Dr. Phil. They didn't believe me. They didn't believe him because he was terrified. They propped him up on a medical table and said, type about the abuse. And when he didn't, and when he was afraid and he withdrew his hand, they said, oh, this is made up. This isn't true.
But what I'm saying is, did you do everything you could do short of ending that child's life? You had money, you had means, you had passports, you had unfettered custody and control. Why not run?
We now return to Death on Fifth Avenue.
A mercy-killing defense, a sane mother viewing death as a reasonable option for her child, followed by what was supposed to be a suicide.
As a mother who loved her child, she engaged in what is called altruistic suicide, filicide.
Jordan and her lawyers alleging the boy's biological father abused the boy sexually and was a constant threat, although he denies it and is not charged with any crime.
Let's assume, for argument's sake, that what he reported to you was true. We don't know that because you never saw it happen. All you know is what he told you.
I saw the corroboration of many things that he told me.
The problem that we face today is the only eyewitness you killed.
No, that's not true. I have people that he typed with independently about the abuse. That's how we communicated.
Dr. Frank Putnam is a psychiatrist and a professor of psychiatry at the University of North Carolina School of Medicine. He did not testify at Gigi's trial, and although he never met the child, Dr. Putnam has reviewed Jude's medical records and the messages Gigi says the special needs son typed on a BlackBerry about his alleged abuse. Here's what he had to say.
Jude had very little spoken language, but he had very good keyboarding skills. And this was noted in the record by a number of physicians, and it's documented that he was able to type on a computer and even type on a BlackBerry at times. And he used these to communicate with his mother, he used this to communicate with his therapist, he used this to communicate with his teachers in school, with his classmates. There are many examples of Jude being able to actually write on a little BlackBerry. Jude was able to communicate what happened to him using the texting. I've seen this kind of texting with a number of children now, and I'm quite struck, even though they may not be able to speak, and many people assume that they must be in some ways mentally retarded or challenged, that they often can text at very high levels of language. I've read hundreds of pages of Jude's text. Much of it is just very simple stuff about what he wants for breakfast or what he wants to do or what he doesn't want to do, but he has very poignant passages where he's talking to teachers, to his mother, about how he feels. This is not so unusual. I've seen other children who use now primarily tablets to text. There are many children out there who cannot speak but are actually able to communicate fairly well using a tablet or some kind of a keyboard device.
I made attempts to make legitimate reports to CPS, the FBI, the U.S. Attorney's Office. No one did anything. No one believed me or Jude. And I had a lawyer get me an expert on how to disappear. He said, get several suitcases and get cash and go to the Bahamas.
And why did you not do that?
Dr. Phil, that sounded crazy to me.
That sounds crazy to you, but ending your child's life does not sound crazy to you?
Sounds crazy to me that I should have to be, and he should have to be in a position where no one would believe or help us.
The craziest sounding thing of all is ending a child's life before you have exercised every potential option, right? If one option is take cash and go live on the beach in the Bahamas, isn't that better?
Do you think that me alone in the Bahamas with an 8-year-old child with tremendous needs, educationally, therapy-wise, medical needs, do you think that a guy who's associated with the mafia who wants me dead isn't going to find me? This isn't just a guy who was pissed off and people are killed for a lot less money.
He has denied that. He has never been charged.
What would he say?
Of course he would deny it, but he's never been charged.
His company, Allianz Healthcare, was indicted.
But he was not. You had money, you had means, you had passports, you had unfettered custody and control. Why not run?
To run would make me only more vulnerable.
But how does that make sense if the alternative is to end your child's life?
I equate it to battered women syndrome. When someone has been harassing you, stalking you, terrifying you, abusing your child, there comes a point when you ask me, would you do it differently? Ask a battered woman that.
Why not institutionalize him under an assumed name somewhere with high security that they can't get to?
I want my son in an institution.
You said he had friends, he was hopeful, he was happy, and it's that time that you choose that option?
I felt completely incapable of protecting him. That's all that I can tell you. Whether that was rational or not, I can't say, but I don't think that I'm a cold-blooded murderer.
We reached out to Ray Mira and invited him and his attorney to appear on the show. His attorney, Ray Raskoff, provided us with this statement. Mr. Mira has received multiple requests from the media for information concerning the Gigi Jordan trial. Mr. Mira remains deeply saddened by the tragedy of Jude's death and regrets the need to again deny the false and irrational allegations that Miss Jordan has made against him. I just don't get how it is rational to not do everything else first before you did. Not do everything else first before you did what you did. Who gave you the right to end this child's life?
We now return to Dr. Phil's prison interview with Gigi Jordan.
Now, I want to be very clear. Your position is you did not do what you did because this was a special needs child.
No.
You did not do this because he was a burden.
No.
You did not do this because you are a wealthy New York socialite that wanted to flit about Manhattan.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Because I got to tell you what I think. I don't think you had the right to end this child's life. I don't think it was rational. I don't think it was reasonable. I don't think you have the right to take a child and end their life because your assessment is that things are going to get bad for them. I just don't get how it is rational, even under the pressure you were at the time, to not do everything else first before you did what you did. Why you didn't run, why you didn't put him in an institution. Who gave you the right to end this child's life?
I can't tell you about who has the right. All I can tell you is it's easy to judge. It's easy to sit there and not put yourself in someone else's shoes.
Do you advocate this?
No.
I mean, there are people in analogous situations out there.
It's easy to say, how ridiculous is that? I wanted to do this and go on and live my socialite life. Really? It's wrong. It's wrong. I wish I would have died with him that night. That's all I can tell you.
Since you didn't, should you go to jail?
I probably will. And the fact that despite what you say or think, I feel I tried and went above and beyond in every possible manner to get help. And the fact of my inability to do that tremendously added to the burden and the fears. They took him away from me. When I reported this in Wyoming, they took him out of my custody.
But were they right? I mean, they were saying, this lady is unstable. We need to protect this child from her. And as it turns out, you ended his life. Were they not prophetic in saying they should take that child from you?
I'm not defending what I did. I'm defending what happened to him and the lack of the system and the society, despite my efforts that you say may have been inadequate, to do anything to help us. Had I died that night, not everyone would be sympathetic, but people would just feel this was generally a tragedy. It would be okay if I died, okay? So the exclusion of all the evidence about my suicide attempt is very, very important. The last thing I want to say is ask Jude how he feels about me. Think about Jude right now looking down, who knows what he went through and what I went through to try to protect him, how his voice couldn't be heard, how my voice trying to protect him couldn't be heard, and ask him what he feels about me and who I was and what I tried to do and meant to me.
But Gigi, you were winning. He started telling you this at age 6. You know, for that 2 years, you know he hadn't been hurt. You were winning. That was 25% of his life, and you chose that time to end his life.
Whether I cracked under the pressure, whether there was other things I could have done, I felt it was like a ticking time bomb. All I know is under the fears and the pressures and what he had gone through and what I had gone through, trying to help him and protect him.
Okay, look at this video for me.
What's this letter? J. Up, down, up, down. You can do the big one?
I saw 2 different videos of Jude. Many autistic children do not relate directly to people. Jude was very related.
You're so fast, Jude.
He was very involved and related. He made good eye contact with people. He listened to people. He watched people. If people were talking about him, he knew that and would smile when they said his name. He was very interactive with adults. He listened to adult conversations. We don't see that classically in autistic children. Well, Jude was seen all over the country in the hopes that some expert could find out what was the matter with him. Gigi was taking her child from hospital to hospital. She was consulting the best specialists. She was doing everything a parent could do. Jude received many extensive medical workups. He received very extensive kinds of testing, both for autism and for his medical conditions. He really got the $1 million workup.
This precious boy.
Yeah, I really wanted him to die, Dr. Phil. You can see that from our interaction, right? You can see that this is someone I didn't love and care for more than anything. It's very obvious. I wanted him dead. I didn't want him in a home where someone else could watch him because I didn't care about him. I wanted him to die. That's what that film tells you, right?
I asked you in the beginning, if you had this to do over, would you end his life again?
I would have done a better job of making sure I ended my own. That's what I would have done. That's what I would have done.
This is the second tragic story that we have covered this year where a mother chose to kill her special needs child. If you are a parent of a special needs child, you need to know, no matter what the circumstances, you do not have the right or the moral empowerment to make the decision to end a child's life. There is always a better choice. Now, if you are a family coping with autism and you need support, you can go to autismspeaks.org. You can also go to autismnow.org.
This case is complicated because this child was seen for a particular mysterious condition. that one had to go through hundreds and hundreds of pages of medical records, hundreds and hundreds of pages of therapy notes, as well as the texting to unravel what was happening. Every doctor who saw Jude indicated that he was an atypical case. No one really could figure out what was the matter with him. Jude was thought to have autism because he had some of the classic signs of regression of language early in life, but there were many atypical features that people noticed.
Up, down.
So Jude had good receptive language, meaning that he could hear what people said, he could understand what people said. There are many examples in the record where people explained very complicated things to him. He understood, he was able to comply with their instructions, he was able to do things. What he couldn't do was express himself very well. He had very few words initially. He could just say a very few kind of da, ba, da type words.
This letter.
So he had what we call good receptive language, meaning that he could hear and understand. But he had poor expressive language, meaning that he couldn't talk very well and make himself known. One of the reasons that people did not see Jude as having a classic case of autism is that he showed dramatic improvements for a variety of different treatments that don't work for autism. For example, drugs like Valium, electroconvulsive shock, steroids. In each of these cases, he showed a transient or a short-lived but very dramatic improvement where he was almost normal. He received a diagnosis called autism spectrum disorder, suggesting that he was somewhere in this category of autism, but that he did not have the usual features. If you look in the medical record, you see in addition to the workup for his autism, he was having many weird things happening to him. Jude had difficulty urinating, but he never actually had urinary tract infections, and no one could understand what these difficulties were due to. When they were working up one of Jude's urinary tract infections, or apparent infections, which they found that he had very high levels of a stress hormone called adrenaline. And these levels were so high that they thought that he had a tumor of the adrenal gland. And so he underwent a very extensive workup at several hospitals to look for a tumor, and no tumor was found. There was no explanation for these high levels, which were documented in several hospital laboratories. And we find that this is one of the hormones that gets raised in very high levels as a result of stress. Out of all the cases I've done, this is the most complicated case I've ever seen. This is an enormously tangled web in which you have to look at the forest and not the trees.
I'll set the alarm, and when it's over, it's over.
I looked at the case as if it were a Munchausen's case. I would say that there are a number of things that make me think that this was not being done by Gigi. One is that she gave very clear histories and physicals each time. She didn't distort any of the lab values. Every time she went to a new doctor, she gave a very coherent history of what the last doctor had done, what the test findings were.
All right, here's a question for you. What if I told you there are reasons why you constantly are getting passed over for that promotion, maybe taken advantage of by a so-called best friend, or even conned out of your hard-earned money by some no-good gold digger? Well, yeah. Oh, you know her. Okay. I've often said winners do things losers do not want to do, and today I'm going to tell you exactly what those things are. Isn't it interesting to know what it is winners do that other people just don't know about? Well, that mystery is solved today. 3 months ago, I introduced a new, no-kidding playbook for how to navigate this ever-changing and sometimes scary world that we live in. It's called Life Code, the new rules for winning in the real world. I wanted to create an urgent awareness in you that there are people in this world called baiters who will use, abuse, and take what is yours, and they could actually be sitting right next to you, at home or here. Keep an eye on her. Today, I'm going to teach you how to stop being a target and, more importantly, how to not only be a winner in your life, but how to win big. Now, my first guest, Rebecca, is a perfect example of someone in need of a new playbook. Rebecca says her life has been destroyed by her sister Pamela, who says she not only had affairs with her boyfriends, but even Rebecca's husband. So this isn't a one-time deal. Take a look.
My sister Pamela has slept with almost every man that I've been in a serious relationship with. The betrayal began when I was 19 and has been going on for 20 plus years. She had sex with the guy that took my virginity. Then she had sex with the man that I had a child with. Then she had sex with my husband. Then she had sex with my current boyfriend. Pamela made up all kinds of excuses from they made me, they seduced me. She was protecting me because if they slept with someone else, I could get a disease, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. She knew how bad it hurt me, and then she did it again and again and again. I received an anonymous letter that my sister was having an affair with my husband. I can't even tell you on daytime TV what this letter said. She made remarks that my ex-husband wouldn't have slept with her if I'd have taken care of him. I have hatred towards Pamela. I feel like I am a simmering pot that is gonna explode.
Now, Pamela says, look, it's been nearly 20 years. It's time for Rebecca to move on. Let's hear her side of the story.
My sister will not forgive me for having sex with her boyfriend and husband no matter what I do. As a teenager, I had sex with her boyfriend, so I guess I should have learned my lesson then. While Becky and her husband were separated, I did have sex with her husband. He'd been hitting on me for quite some time. He would tell me how beautiful I was, and finally, for once, I felt I could be equal with her. They got back together. I ended up having sex with him a couple more times. Since I had already done it once before, I kind of felt obligated. She doesn't like that I've moved on. It's been 20 years. I think it's time to let go. If Dr. Phil asked me if I liked my sister today, I would say no.
Okay, why did you want to be here today?
Because I want my sister not to have to carry the anger and hate that she's carrying towards me.
Have you done the things she says that you've done?
Yes, I have.
So she would get a boyfriend, you would sleep with him?
No, it was not like that at all. Her boyfriend that she has right now, they went on one date.
It is like that.
No,
okay, listen, okay, hold on, time out. Because I've got two agendas here today. One agenda is to try to get everything on the table so you guys can heal. You can't change what you don't acknowledge, so we got to get it on the table. Okay. And you and I have one thing in common. We want her to move on.
Yes.
I agree with you on that. You are being your own worst enemy. You are being your biggest obstacle. I intend to change that today. I intend to set you free. I intend to give you a new playbook. I intend to give you what you need to win and win big in your life. Now, whether you admit to the things you've done or not actually is not essential to what I'm going to ask you to do, but it would be nice. Now, I said, did you sleep with her boyfriends? And you said, well, no. And you said, whoa, what? She did or she didn't?
Obviously, she admitted she did.
Okay, she's
And now she's
how many
saying
boyfriends
no.
of yours has she slept with, counting your husband?
6.
6?
Yeah.
6.
Do you dispute the number?
Yeah.
5, 4?
It's been 4, but there's been relationships that both her and I have been in growing up.
Okay, well, what is your point? She has no reason to be upset?
No, she has a reason to be upset for her husband and the father of her child. That's it. The other
So only 2 of them you ran a red light. The other 4?
No.
The other 4 she doesn't have any
What
objection.
I'm saying is there's people that we've gone out on dates with
The reason it's hard for me to let go is that I am currently dating somebody that she has been with, so I still,
After I was with him, she now is with him.
This is a big world. I don't sleep with my girlfriend's men, whether it's current or previous, or hers, whether it's current or previous. There's too many people in this world.
But she does yours.
To sleep with your sister's
Why do you sleep
men.
with her husband and father of her child and any number of others? Why do you do that?
I think the alcohol and drugs clouded my
Do you still do alcohol and drugs?
I drink occasionally. I do not do drugs.
I understood that you felt like you had what you referred to as a multiple personality disorder, and that it was another personality that did this.
Absolutely not.
No?
No.
So there's not a Michelle in there?
No, there is. There is another personality, but I remember all these. When my other personality comes out, I have no recollection. So.
And you remember these. So that wasn't
yes,
Michelle
was
that did that. That was you.
It was me.
And I don't mean to make light of this. I'm asking you seriously. And today, though, we're talking to Pamela.
Yes.
You said you do this because of alcohol and drugs. Why do the alcohol and drugs make you do that? That would maybe make you sleep with somebody down the street. No. But why does that alcohol and drugs make you sleep with her men?
It doesn't. There's no excuse for what I did, Dr.
Well, I'm
Phil.
not asking for an excuse.
No
I'm asking if you have any insight to it. You said you slept with her husband while they were separated.
Correct.
You said you thought they were separated, so it didn't matter.
No, it did matter. And all I said was that they were separated.
Well, what you said, and it's in quotes, they were separated, didn't think it was wrong.
No, I would have never said something like that.
Okay.
That
after you got back,
ridiculous.
after they got back together, you did it 2 more times?
Yes.
After they were back together?
Correct.
Why'd you do that? Were you drunk and high both of those times?
I was.
Because in all of our pre-interviews, you never told us you did it because you were drunk and high.
They never asked why.
They never asked why.
I mean,
wow.
I mean, that has never come up.
Okay. Well, I'm asking now, and so you're telling us. You said that he told you you were beautiful.
Yeah, he did.
And so you finally felt equal to your sister.
Not equal. She's...
We've got either a really bad typewriter.
No, she's...
Because this is in quotes.
Equal as in, I felt, since he thought she was pretty and then thought I was pretty, I was like, wow, you know, she's a beautiful person.
So that validated you. See, this helps me understand, because I think maybe if she understood, it would be easier for her to get past this.
I understand that, and she's told me that, but I think I've been holding this big sister that I got to be the strong one without her really realizing what she's done.
Yeah, but see, this is up to you. You're blaming how you feel on her. I wrote down some of the things that you said, unless our typewriter got a mind of its own with you as well. You said, quote, see, when I put things in quotes, that's because it came verbatim from a recorded interview that was transcribed.
And I probably said it.
So you said, I cannot get over what she did to me, and it has ruined my whole life.
It has.
You say that you stay with your current boyfriend, although the relationship is unhealthy, that she's already slept with him, so she wouldn't want him.
I just don't want to go through this again. And history
Would that be a
has
yes?
shown. It would be a yes.
Okay.
It really would. And it's not healthy for me to do that.
You have allowed your sister to live with you and your husband after she slept with 2 previous boyfriends?
I did, and she apologized and begged for my forgiveness. So yes, I did take her back in, trusting her. I had no idea she did
You let
it
the
again.
fox in the hen house.
I did. I made a mistake, I guess.
Now, you don't respond well to it because she says, I think she said, that you have choked, punched, kicked, and slapped her.
I have not.
You have not?
No, I have not.
Did you say that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I actually have, last time I called the police on her, they ended up taking pictures.
Did she cause you to fall down the stairs?
No, yes.
Did you cause her to fall down the stairs?
No.
In San Diego.
She had me arrested, but the charges were dropped because she lied in front of the judge.
Have you called the
no,
police
I did not. Don't
on her
sit
5
there and
times?
lie.
Have you called the police on her 5 times?
No. I called the police on her 1 time. And that's when I had They took pictures of me
Who
bleeding.
called the police the other 4 times?
Probably Becky. She's the most calling person I've ever met.
So you're calling the cops on each other? No. No?
Well, I've done it, yes. I admit that I've done it once.
And you want to know how to be free of this?
Not just
Really?
be free, but to have a sister that I can grow old with. And
Yeah, that may
I
not
want.
happen. Really, that may not happen, but it may.
I just thought there was a solution to every problem, and I've tried
Well-
to find this one, and I can't.
Well, okay.
That's why we came to you.
I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm going to put verbs in my sentences. I'm going to be real clear. We'll be right back.
Pam is a very vindictive person. She told the police that I hit her in the face.
She's hit me, smacked me, kicked me, punched me. My sister's out for revenge.
Hold it. What the hell?
They asked me if she has hit, slapped, punched, kicked me, and I said yes, but not technically. She never kicked me, but she's slapped, punched, choked, everything else. Okay, the kicking. Okay, she didn't kick me.
So you're saying that my producer told you to say those things?
No, they asked me if she's ever hit, punched, kicked. I said yes. Excuse me, can we take the kicking part out?
If you are here to fix this problem, then you need to be honest and we'll deal with it. And if you're not, then you need to hit the bricks and let me talk to somebody who's real. Because this sister dynamic here, well, I didn't really say that. Well, I did say this, I did say that, is a load of crap because I got it on tape. So do not tell me what you did and didn't say. Do you think I just sit up here and make this stuff up because I got nothing else to do?
No, I believe that you've got the right information that was
Well, you
said.
damn bet you I do.
Yeah, I do believe you do.
I got exactly what both of you said. So then you say, well, okay, I said it, but your producer told me to say it. That lady is a crock.
I didn't say it like that, Dr. Phil. Is what I'm saying is they asked me if she had ever punched, kicked, slapped, or hit me, and I said yes. Now Becky's saying, well, I didn't kick you.
I said I've never kicked you, Pamela, and I've never choked you.
Yes, you did.
See, y'all just go right on talking like I'm not even here.
No, I'm sorry. I don't think that right now is any of that is relevant.
It's relevant to me because you challenge the integrity of my staff. I'm going to fight you till the cows come home. You are not going to insult my staff. No way. No how. You will not insult my staff.
I'm saying what's not relevant is the issues that we're discussing right now on whether it was kicked or punched or slapped. The point is, we've had fights.
She has assaulted me, absolutely.
That's not the point. We've been through a number of things here that you said you didn't say, and you did say them. Did you say that when you had sex after they got back together that you figured already had sex, so obligated to do it?
I did feel obligated.
I didn't ask you if you felt obligated. I asked you if you said that.
Oh, yes, I did say
Because
that.
when I asked you, you said it before, you said no.
Yes, I said that.
So now you say yes.
Yeah.
You said no before, you say yes.
No, you've never asked that question. Yes.
So I guess we're coming back now from, that was all on a break. Well, today we're talking about the new rules to becoming a street smart, savvy player in your own life. And I've written it all down in my new book, Life Code, the new rules for winning in the real world. Now, I am very proud to say that my book is being published by my son Jay's publishing company, Bird Street Books, and it's available in stores for the first time today. And Pamela says after 20 years, her sister Rebecca is still out for revenge. But Rebecca says it's Pamela who's trying to destroy her life. Take a look.
My sister's out for revenge. She's hit me, smacked me, kicked me, punched me. She's broke into my apartment.
Pam is a very vindictive person. A lot of people fear her. My sister has told other people that I've had an affair with her current boyfriend. She said that she didn't have enough mean things to say, so she made him up.
The last time she physically attacked me, I had to call the police, and she was arrested for assault.
She told the police that I hit her in the face. I didn't hit my sister in the face.
One time, Rebecca kissed my boyfriend right in front of me. When I asked my sister if anything had happened between my boyfriend and her, All she said is, I'm going to make you wonder for the next 20 years.
You did say she kicked you. Sorry. You did say it, right?
Okay.
Right? I'm just saying.
Yes.
You said it. That's why I said it. I don't make stuff up. There's plenty without making stuff up.
Definitely.
It isn't about blame. You two have a toxic relationship. It takes two to have a relationship. And you two have defined this as toxic. If you want to win in your life, you got to change the way you are playing the game. Okay? Sometimes we engage with people that just don't have characteristics that merge well with us. I talk in the book about something we call baiters. Okay? In fact, I wrote this down for you. I'm going to talk about it real quickly. If she's sleeping with your boyfriends and husbands, then I'm going to think that that's probably going to fit. Okay? If she's doing things that are hurting you, that's going to fit. That's going to fit. She could probably make a similar statement about you. I don't know, but I'm just telling you, you've got to understand, if you've got people like this in your life, what do you need to do?
Get away from them.
Get away from them. But most importantly, what I want to talk to you about is what you have to do to create what I consider a win. Are you with me?
I am with you.
I'm getting kind of a blank stare here.
We have such a close family.
When your sister's sleeping with your husband, the family's too close. Most importantly, what I want to talk to you about is what you have to do to create what I consider a win. Are you with me?
I am with you.
I'm getting kind of a blank stare here.
I'm with you. We have such a close family, it's hard to...
No, you don't. Listen, when your sister's sleeping with your husband, the family's too close. Okay? Now, if you want to change it, you want to change it.
I need to just completely get rid of her, or
no,
if I
you
need
don't
to
know
create
because
some
you started
boundaries.
whining about it before I had a chance to tell you.
Okay.
Do you want to change this or do you not? Seriously, come on.
I seriously do.
I'm not trying to talk you into it. You wrote me.
I did, and I do want things to change.
Then you've got to understand, look, these, and I'll talk about this for everybody out here, and I want you to do this. I'm going to haunt you till you do, so you might as well surrender. If what you're doing in your life is not working, don't you need to do something different? I mean, seriously.
I do.
If you want to be a winner, these are the things that you absolutely have to have. Number one, you have to have a defined image. You've got to know who you are. Your defined image right now is that of victim. You are downtrodden. I'm staying with a guy that's unhealthy because she won't want him. No way. You've got to change that. You deserve better than that. You've got to believe better than that. You've got to decide who you are, and you've got to commit to that. An image, the way you see yourself and the way you see others. Your self-esteem's got to go up. And it's your life. Play big. If you don't star in your life, who is? Be proud of Rebecca. Get the image and then play big. Winners play big. You've got to know your real currency. What truly matters to you? Because right now, apparently, happiness doesn't matter to you. Because you have settled for less than happy for a long, long time. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
You deserve better.
I know I do. I feel broken. And I don't want to be a victim.
But that's the image you've had. That's the defined image. You got to know what your currency is. You got to always have a plan. And winners, interestingly, keep their plans close to the vest. You've got to stay in investigatory mode. You've got to know what's going on, and you've got to surround yourself with a nucleus of supporters. Supporters don't go behind your back and sleep with your boyfriends and husbands. Supporters don't call the cops on you. Supporters don't say bad things about you. And I tell you one thing winners do. Oh man, they deal with the truth. You are doing none of these things. You want to win big? I've got detailed steps on every one of these things for you to do. And if that means that you're going to surround yourself with a nucleus of supporters, she's going to have to earn her way into that circle.
Yeah.
You support everything I'm saying, right?
Absolutely.
She wants this for you.
She deserves it.
Can you then have a relationship with your sister? Maybe when you come at it from a position of strength, not weakness. Right now, you're a victim, and you're never at a weaker position than when you are an angry victim. I want you to have a defined image. I want you to play big in your own life, and in Life Code, I tell you exactly, precisely, step by step, how to do that. Will you do it?
I will.
And you have got to deal with the truth. And if the truth is that this isn't working, then you need a break, you need a timeout.
Okay.
All right, he says he's been robbed blind to the tune of nearly $500,000. The culprit? His current girlfriend. We're going to meet both of them next, and I have got some things to say to both of them. We'll be right back.
My girlfriend Megan has robbed me blind to the tune of almost $450,000.
I use the word take rather than stole.
I've told Megan to move out of my house, and she refuses to leave.
You got to throw out the rule book because I have written a new one. The new rule book is called Life Code, the new rules for winning in the real world.
I read your book, Life Code, and I loved it. I had a friendship several years ago that did not end well and really didn't understand what went wrong. After having read your book, I feel confident that I can move forward, set healthy boundaries for friendships in my life, and be able to value myself in doing that. Thank you.
As a counselor in a men's state prison, I work with literally hundreds of baiters.
There are some people in this world that I say will use you, abuse you, take advantage of you. I call them baiters.
The book showed us not only what techniques these baiters use, but the techniques that we need to use to protect ourselves from them. It has really, really changed my life.
I just want to let you know how much your book, Life Code, has impacted me. I'm definitely on the lookout for baiters and looking out for the characteristics for the Evil 8. I appreciate you writing this book, and everyone out there should definitely give it a read. Bye, Dr. Phil.
Well, we've been talking about how you can stop being targeted by the abusers, exploiters, and takers of the world, and more importantly, start living the life you deserve. To win big, you need the right playbook, and I got to tell you, I am obviously very passionate about this. I'm more excited about this book than any I've written, and I think this is number 8. It is called Life Code, the new rules for winning in the real world. I'm very proud to say the book's published by my son, Jay, his publishing company, Bird Street Books, and it's available in bookstores nationwide today. Now, my next guest, Steve, says his girlfriend, Megan, has taken him to the cleaners to the tune of nearly $500,000.
My girlfriend Megan has robbed me blind to the tune of almost $450,000.
I use the word take rather than stole because I believe that when you steal something, you don't ever intend on giving it back to the person.
I have proof that Megan has stolen money for shopping, gas money, Starbucks.
I've used Steve's credit cards without telling him.
She's taken my ATM card.
I've written checks out of Steve's account.
I was in Brazil, and within about 5 minutes, she had already wrote about 5 checks to herself. This is not my writing right here. This is not my signature. Megan has forged all these documents of power of attorney to bank accounts to everything so she can have access to all my accounts and basically ruin my life. We had exchange students come live with us, and she racked up just about $500 on their credit cards.
When Steve finds out I've taken money, he gets angry and is verbally aggressive. We've had physical altercations.
Megan is a pathological liar.
He makes me pay for the things I've done every single day. If I didn't owe Steve money, we would have a great relationship.
You two have been in a relationship how long?
5 years.
5 years. She likes to play semantics, in my view, and say, well, I don't call it stealing if I intend to give it back. How is that not stealing?
Well, first of all, I did take without his knowledge, but a lot of the money that I owe him in that $400,000, he gave willingly to me. So I have paid him back some of what I have taken.
Okay. When you misappropriate funds through an ill-gotten power of attorney, is that stealing?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to be sure we're defining our terms right. You have confession letters, correct?
Yes.
I've read the confession letters. You've basically confessed in writing that you took the money illegally, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what is it we're talking about?
I'm not saying I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not saying I didn't take his money.
Are you a slow learner? 5 years?
Yeah.
What's up with that?
No, not a slow learner. Just try to help them all.
She conned your 81-year-old mother out of $167,000.
Right.
You let someone not just occasionally, but repeatedly steal from you, steal from your family, exploit you, make excuses, do it again.
And this could have been going on years ago. And I mean, she is a sweet lady and, you know, very likable.
When you're doing it, do you think, wow, I'm really doing a bad thing here?
Yes.
So you think about it at the time?
Yes.
How do you make it okay with yourself?
I don't make it okay with myself.
No, based on results, you do.
Well, I don't make it. I do it. I don't ever think it's okay, though.
All right, let's take a break. Nearly $500,000 gone. Where does Steve go from here? Does he prosecute Megan, walk away from it all? I'm going to tell him that I think there is one major flaw in his thinking when we come back. Well, we've been discussing how the game of life has changed, and with it, so have the rules. So it takes a new strategy if you want to win and win big. I've been talking to Steve, who says his girlfriend, Megan, has stolen near $500,000. It's $400 and some odd dollars. And as we heard, she's also duped Steve's 81-year-old mother.
Megan stole it from my mom.
Steve's mom had offered to lend me $3,000 for the family business, and we agreed not to tell Steve because we knew how he would react.
Megan went behind my back and got into my bank accounts.
I took some money from Nancy's accounts.
Megan stole $167,000, $828.43. It made me feel sad to think such a nice girl could be doing that.
My parents cashed in some of their retirement and their annuities and paid Nancy back all the money she was owed.
I think Megan needs some serious help.
Nancy, hello.
Hello.
I'm sorry that this has happened to you. What do you think about your son here staying in this relationship and allowing this to continue to happen?
Well, I think the reason he didn't do anything more about it, he was kept hoping that eventually they'd come up with the money and pay him back.
Yeah. Is that part of it, that you think, well, I'm going to stay hooked up here and because it's my only hope of getting the money back?
Well, that's one part, but I mean, it's like she's a nice lady. You want to say there's got to be more to her than this, and maybe she made a big mistake, and maybe she is going to pay it back. And I don't just give up on people.
Okay. What's wrong with you? What do you think's wrong with you?
I don't know. If I knew, I would fix it. I don't know.
She loves money, but we don't know where all this money goes.
You do know where it went.
No, we
Steve.
don't.
He does know where it
went.
No, you say that like you are irritated with him.
No,
You stole his money and you're irritated with him?
No, I'm not irritated with him, but...
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Is there an echo in here? God. I'm not irritated with him. I'm irritated that he says he doesn't know where it went.
I don't know where it goes. Where could you put all that money?
Okay.
Not on me.
You're irritated. See,
Yeah.
this is important because, look, I hear what isn't said as much as I hear what is said when I watch things. I've kind of watched what you're doing, and you exhibit absolutely no remorse for this whatsoever.
That's
now,
not true, and he'll tell you that.
No, I know. Listen, I've read your letters. I've read your letters, your long diatribes where this is horrible. I can't believe I've let you down in this way. I know I've disappointed you. I know I've hurled that. I swear, if it's my last breath, I will make this right to you. I've heard all of that, and then I've looked at the timeline, and while you were writing that letter, there were things going on to do cashotomies on him that he didn't even know about. What will happen when he runs out of money? If he had no money, what would you do?
It's been empty already, and I didn't even know it.
What would you do if he had zero money? Would you find another target?
No, the reason I was using the money was to save a struggling business that is closed now. So.
Yeah, because I closed it.
Okay, but regardless, it's closed. So all that money went for that business.
You can't be that far in debt in a business. That's tons of money.
But we were.
Ask me a question. What do you want to know?
What about the money? When's it coming back?
It's not coming back. Kiss it goodbye. You never will see it again. What do you want to know? Because I'm going to tell you the truth as I see it.
Well, I kind of see it too, but I'm hoping for not that. But it's like...
What do you want? Ask me a question. What do you want to know?
I was going to ask her, but I'll ask you. What about the money? When's it coming back, if it's coming back?
It's not coming back. Kiss it goodbye. You never will see it again.
Well, I figured that, but... Well, because there's too many things that don't make sense. And that's when I finally said, that's enough. It's enough.
Embezzlers don't pay money back. You're not going to get it back. She can tell you you're going to get it back. I've read the letter from the parents. It's notarized and signed by both of them. They're going to get this money and that money, and you may get some money from them, from their inheritance, trying to keep her out of jail. But money that she's taken and converted, gone.
Well, I was looking for straight answers pretty much, and that's fine. I can take it.
What'll be on your list of questions is, Dr. Phil, what's wrong with me?
I already know that.
What is it?
Too nice.
Yeah. And
well, not 100% nice, but 99.
Yeah.
Really?
All right, 85.
You've got some illusion here that there is a virtue in tolerance of toxic behavior. There's no virtue in tolerance of toxic behavior. That's not being nice. That's being an enabler. And this woman is going to go to prison. If she doesn't change what she's doing, she's going to go to prison. She may go to prison on what she's already done just to you. And if she's done it to you, Romeo, don't think you are the first one or the only one.
Believe me, here's a funny story. So I'm sitting in my driveway. A guy pulls up who's a friend of mine. And he goes, be careful with her. She'll rob you blind. And look what happened. I'm like, no, she won't. I mean, you don't know anything about her.
Yeah, let me tell you. I want to show you something here. I want you to look at this right here. You see this? We were raised to give people the benefit of the doubt, right? I mean, that's how I was raised.
Right.
Well, let me tell you something. That could not be more wrong and more outdated. That is crazy. Why give people the benefit of the doubt? Why not, instead of giving people the benefit of the doubt, why not just keep an open mind? Why not gather information? Why not, as I said when I was looking at the Sweet 16, stay in investigative mode? Deal with the truth. You know, we need to become street smart, savvy players in the game of life. Investigatory mode. Always, if somebody comes and pulls up to your curb and says, hey, watch her, she'll steal you blind. That's kind of a random occurrence, isn't it? That's kind of, I can't think of a single person I've had pull up to a curb and tell me that about somebody. So when that happens, you know, I'm thinking, wow, this is registering with me. I'm going into investigatory mode. I'm going to check. And when I start seeing money missing, and it happens once, you go, wow, she was desperate, loves her family, and just could not sit by and watch her parents' business collapse. But then she does it again and 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 again. hundreds of thousands of dollars, there gets to the point where you got to say, I'm not concerned about her, I'm concerned about me. Do not let her next to your money. Do not let her next to your mother's money. Do not let her next to your life, because she will tell you she doesn't know why she does this. She doesn't have the ability not to do this. Well, and she needs help. And she may get that in prison, or you may, and maybe she doesn't get prosecuted because you choose not to prosecute her. I'm not concerned about that. But seriously, you need help. There's something wrong with your moral compass that allows you to do this. And I'm not trying to be mean to you. I'm telling you, you need help. And I'm willing to try and get you some help. If you want help, I will try and get you some help. You need to learn how to not do this. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Because if he continues to buy your lies, then you need help.
No, I stopped buying the lies, but it's just a little too late. But
it doesn't, and you don't keep her around and just.
Well, she said she has nowhere to go.
That is not your problem.
Well,
you've got to put down boundaries, and you've got to require more of the people in your life. You deserve better, and if you want to win in your personal life, then you've got to require more of people, just as they have the right for you to meet standards in their life. Next, why every parent needs to read a copy of Life Code before the sun sets today. We'll be right back. Now, before the break, I said this book is a must-read for parents. Look, parents, your job is to prepare your children for the real world, not the one you wish they were inheriting, not the one that you wish they were living in. And the truth is, the world has changed. That makes our children so much more vulnerable. And so the trick is to make them urgently aware without making them paranoid about what's going on in the world. So I have written a specific chapter in there about how to prepare your children for the world they are going into, not the world we wish they were going into. I hope this book really resonates with you and is a beginning in changing the way you walk through your life. We're going to be talking about it, because finding a way to win in this life, whether it's in your marriage, your family, your business, your personal life, whatever it is a fun and exciting thing to do. As I said, I'm very proud to say that Life Code is being published by my son Jay's publishing company, Bird Street Books. It's available in stores today, and everybody in the audience is going home with a copy. All right? I want to thank all of my guests today, so thanks for being here. So long. Thanks, guys.